NDP leader, Jack Layton, was also on the environment file today, and he's got his green tie on. Mr. Layton, tell us about your plan, which you have unveiled, and I then also want to get your comment on Dalton McGuinty's comment that he prefers your plan over the plan that Mr. Ignatieff and the other Liberals are working on.
Well, first, I think we need to realize that everybody's got to get moving on this climate change crisis. And we believe that we should all be able to agree, except Mr. Harper, he's not going to agree on these things, that we've got to constrain the emission of carbon, and we've got to do it fast. We've got to put a price on carbon. It's essential. And we've got to protect people who could be hit because they're vulnerable economically. And we believe that the best approach to that, the most effective, the one used elsewhere, is to put a limit on the pollution, make the big polluters pay, and move all of that money into the solutions that people are looking for so they can reduce emissions. They call it a cap-and-trade system.
You would not have higher prices at the gas pumps or in home heating oil or that sort of thing under your system?
We don't think the best strategy is taxing at that end. We think the best strategy is hitting up the big polluters at the production end. That's going to make the change happen most quickly. And people might remember 25 years ago we had an acid rain problem in northern Ontario and throughout Ontario with lakes dying. And we brought in cap and trade back then. We forced the big polluters to take the sulfur out, to pay for their pollution, and that brought all kinds of solutions into place, and many of those lakes are coming back to life. We know this works. It's what's being used in Europe. It's what Barack Obama has said he wants to bring to the United States. In fact, even Senator McCain says the same. So we're going to have carbon trading in Canada to get to that constrained carbon future. Canada should be a part of it. We should be leading it. And Dalton McGuinty is going to be talking with Jean Charest about setting something up between two provinces. Why don't we make it a national program or an international one?
What about the, Mr. Ignatieff just said that there's just an inch of difference between Dalton McGuinty and Stéphane Dion's plan. How would you view it? And most people, I think, are just beginning to learn about these various proposals. How would you explain the degree of difference between what Mr. Dion is proposing and what you're proposing?
Well, we can't really know until we see the details. That's why we decided to lay our plan out. Our goal is to have a 25% reduction in emissions by 2020. And that's pretty dramatic. That takes 150 megatons from today's emissions out of the picture. That's enormous. It's significant.
Is this a
it's
constraint
dramatic.
on growth, or is it an actual reduction from what our levels are today?
This would be an actual reduction. And I think that that's ultimately what's got to be tested. And we believe the price of carbon would be about $35 a ton. The polluters would have to pay it. They've got enormous profits right now, so they can start by absorbing it. Then they can start, and we would be through this mechanism forcing them to invest in the solutions. We'd get money for public transit, for helping people to renovate their homes, starting with low-income people, getting more renewable energy on track, and helping people to buy more energy efficient appliances, that kind of thing. It's a comprehensive package to get those emissions down and get them down fast.
And who are the big polluters? The tar sands in Alberta we've heard about. Are there others? The
coal?
Steel? When they burn coal to generate electricity.
Oh, that's for sure. And in fact, with the price of oil going up, there's more and more coal being used. And this has got to worry everybody because this is a big, big problem. And making those polluters pay has got to be a starting point of any real action on climate change. And I'm optimistic. I welcome the discussion.
Like
I think it's
steel
good.
plants, would they be affected? Steel?
Well, we think that what you can do with steel is help create more efficient production. And with cogeneration and some of these other technologies that can help modernize our steel plants, we think it's a win-win. We don't see it reducing economic growth. We see it changing, moving into the 21st century economy. Look, in Germany now, and this is incredible, there are more workers working in the wind turbine industry than in the car industry, in the steel sector. How about that? Why aren't we doing that? We got a lot of wind here in Canada. Let's get moving on these solutions using this technique for putting a price on carbon.